Our family went bankrupt, and my father forced me into an arranged marriage. They favored the gentle and refined elder brother, but I was drawn to the temperamental and unpredictable younger brother. Xiao Yan cornered me in the room, grasping my wrist and demanding coldly, "Jiangyi, have you lost your mind? You're supposed to marry my brother?" I looked at the man in front of me, who, in a past life, had gone nearly insane with vengeance for me after my death. "Xiao Yan, you are crazier than I am." 1. I don't like Xiao Hengyu, I like Xiao Yan. As my words fell, the faces around the dinner table shifted dramatically. "What are you talking about, child?" My mother yanked at me sharply, scolding me for talking nonsense. My father also frowned deeply, his voice low, urging me not to make a scene. In their eyes, Xiao Hengyu was exceptional and outstanding in every way. Xiao Yan, on the other hand, was the complete opposite, impulsive, violent, and a failure. Hearing my words, Xiao Yan across the table was equally stunned, his fork clattering onto his plate. Only Xiao Hengyu managed to maintain his composure, forcing a stiff smile. "That's not bad either. A good thing." The faces of the Xiao Donglian couple next to him turned pale, but they kept silent. After all, though my family was bankrupt, my father's position in the business world still held influence, and the Xiao family was currently involved in a major project at a critical stage. They naturally couldn't afford to completely fall out with us. "Let's eat, the food is getting cold." Recalling that Xiao Yan had suffered from stomach issues since childhood, I commented lightly. No one at the table made a sound, and they gradually bowed their heads. Xiao Yan, with a darkened face, ate silently, as if he hadn't eaten in days. I almost wanted to laugh, barely suppressing a smile. "Xiao Yan, long time no see." 2. You can imagine how unpleasant this meal was. In the end, only Xiao Yan and I were still eating, one methodically, the other wolfing down his food as if starved. Not daring to look up, I glanced at the bowed head of Xiao Yan, then stood up. Excusing myself to use the restroom, I made my way familiarly to the corner. But just as I had washed my hands and was about to leave, a tall figure hurriedly entered. "What did you mean by what you said earlier?" Xiao Yan, with furrowed brows and a grim face, leaned against the wall and asked me. I tilted my head, smiling. "Literally what I said. I don't like Xiao Hengyu, I like you. If I must marry into a family, I choose to marry you." Xiao Yan was taken aback, looking at me as if I were a fool. "You don't like Xiao Hengyu? You like me?" "Yes." "Are you sick?" I twitched my mouth, at a loss for words. In Xiao Yan's eyes, as long as his brother was around, he was just a backdrop. How could anyone prefer him over his brother? Before I could respond, Xiao Yan's expression darkened. Convinced I was mocking him, the next second, he punched the wall next to me, his gaze fierce. "Jiangyi, I don't care what your motive is, stay away from me, otherwise, I'll teach you the meaning of regret." "Understood." Looking at the grim man before me, my mind suddenly flashed back to Xiao Yan from my previous life. 3 days after my death, my broken body lay unattended in the morgue. It was he who found me, tears dropping steadily onto my body, eventually turned red-eyed and hugged me. He said, "Jiangyi, don't be afraid. I'll take you home, and I won't let anyone hurt you again." Suddenly, my vision blurred, and I couldn't help but shiver slightly. Seeing this, Xiao Yan panicked and instinctively tried to pull away. "You." The next second, I grabbed his collar and pulled him close. My lips nearly touched the corner of his. "Xiao Yan, why can you like me, and I can't like you?" "I insist on liking you." Xiao Yan was completely dumbfounded, his eyes wide as he held up his hands in a surrender gesture, not daring to touch me. "When did I ever say I liked you? Really don't like me?" I stared intently at him, and after a moment, a slow smile formed on my lips. My fingers trailed down his collar, over his chest and waist, glancing down lightly. "What's this about then?" With a loud thud, Xiao Yan's face flushed from his neck to his ears. He pushed me away forcefully. "Are you crazy?" His eyes filled with panic. He quickly moved half a meter away from me, pointing at me. He told me to stay away from him, so I leaned against the wall, unaffected, and said, "What's wrong? I just like you. Your parents let me choose. I chose you. You're being unreasonable." Xiao Yan was so angry he looked like he was going to explode. Frowning at me, asking if I was out of my mind, I laughed even harder, saying, "Yes, I have a disease where I'll die without you." Xiao Yan fiercely turned his head and cursed under his breath, his ears red as if bleeding. "Ah. Yan, what's wrong?" Just then, Xiao Hengyu's voice suddenly came from the living room. Xiao Yan's face changed slightly, and he gave me a warning look. "I don't like you, don't go out and say anything about choosing me." After saying that, he turned and left, not heading to the living room, but quickly going upstairs. I watched his retreating back, a bitter feeling spreading in my heart. It was this man who, in his last life, died a gruesome death for my sake. The matchmaking dinner ended unhappily, and when I got home, my parents inevitably lectured me. They said I was blinded by foolishness, with Xiao Hengyu's excellent prospects right there, and yet I had set my heart on Xiao Yan. "You really don't know what's good for you," my father said furiously. My mother tried to soften the situation, suggesting that I invite Xiao Hengyu out alone another day to apologize and perhaps get closer. Looking at my blood-related family, my heart ached. Mom, Dad, what if I told you that Xiao Hengyu is just a hypocritical scoundrel? Would you still insist on me marrying into his family? My mother was stunned, her brows furrowed. How could that be? Xiao family's eldest has always been famously outstanding. How could he be hypocritical? Then she continued to persuade me, saying that everyone has flaws and that I should just endure it, be obedient. That Xiao Yan has a bad temper and no prospects. He might even be the illegitimate child of the Qiao family. What future could you possibly have with him? With Hengyu, the wealth of the Qiao family will be yours. Watching my mother's heartfelt persuasion, I suddenly remembered, in my previous life, when I was half beaten to death by Qiao Hengyu's domestic violence, they also advised me to endure, but they didn't know the torture I had suffered. Qiao Hengyu, on the surface, was genteel and distinguished, but behind closed doors, he was a violent paranoid. Having grown up under the oppressive expectations of his parents, he forced himself to excel, and all that pent-up dissatisfaction and pain, in the end, it all turned into post-human violence. Every time he came home drunk, he would turn everything into a beating, violently taking it out on me. Zhou's parents were also beasts wearing human masks. They not only indulged him, but even helped him threaten me. I tried to seek help from my parents, but all I got was their cold discouragement. Eventually, Zhou Hengyu became even more ruthless. And after growing tired of me, he started dragging me into social interactions in business settings. I was living a life worse than death. On the brink of collapse, I became mentally unstable. He then engineered an accident to take my life, obtaining a substantial amount of insurance money. He also swapped his facade for the reputation of a loving, devoted husband. After my death, my parents didn't even consider investigating the truth, only Zhou Yan. After my death, he erupted like a madman, step by step, relentlessly driving the people who harmed me into a corner. In the end, he jumped into the sea holding my ashes. I closed my eyes, and my heart gradually grew cold. In this life, I only want Zhou Yan. I clung to Zhou Yan, always finding excuses to seek him out under the pretext of looking for Zhou Hengyu. He was visibly annoyed, repeatedly turning me away with a scowl. Eventually, he simply started avoiding me, but having lived another life, I knew him well enough to easily find him at the racing club. He was dressed in a black racing suit, his athletic figure accentuated, broad shoulders and long legs fully displayed. This was much more provocative than wearing gray sweatpants. I narrowed my eyes and cursed under my breath for his indecency. I walked over just as a group of young men and women had gathered around him. One of the girls was about to hug him. I stepped forward quickly, hooking my arm around Zhou Yan's neck. Sorry, my fiancé doesn't like other women touching him. With that statement, the faces of everyone present changed. Zhou Yan's face turned red, and he pushed me away, saying, "What are you talking about?" He then stuttered as he introduced me to the others as his friend, not his fiancée. The onlookers shifted the topic with awkward laughs, not probing further, yet the girl who had initially approached Zhou Yan came forward again, asking him to take her for a spin. Zhou Yan hesitated and glanced at me. I smiled and said, "Sure." Then I casually placed my hand on the shoulder of a nearby young man. Then, "Little brother, could you take me for a spin? I've never tried this. It looks thrilling." The young man's eyes lit up, his smile reaching his ears, and he eagerly agreed. As I turned to walk with him, the next second, my arm was forcibly pulled back. Zhou Yan, with a dark expression, pulled me to his side. "I'll take her." I smirked and smiled. Over the next few days, no matter where Zhou Yan went, I always managed to find him first. If he was sleeping at home, I would directly go upstairs and flip his bedding. If he went out for fun, I would follow him closely. I enjoyed seeing him so frustrated yet unwilling to scold me. After a few days, the way he looked at me changed. He finally fiercely warned me, saying if I continued to follow him, he wouldn't be polite anymore. Curious about how he intended to be impolite, I went to the bar where he was hanging out that night. He wasn't surprised, nor did he drive me away immediately. Instead, he let me sit down and join them in drinking and playing games. The drink was, of course, strong liquor. And the game was the cliched truth or dare. Unexpectedly, a girl dared to sit next to him. She had clearly been eyeing him for a long time. She was almost leaning entirely against him. After losing a game, someone in the crowd dared the girl to kiss Xiao Yan. The girl's face turned red instantly and she looked at Xiao Yan, saying it wouldn't be right. Xiao Yan's expression was unreadable, and he didn't immediately object. This only made the crowd cheer louder. Seeing the girl glance at Xiao Yan again, I suddenly realized what he was planning. He was using this girl to drive me away. I took a deep breath, feeling a bit angry. I knew that Xiao Yan kept pushing me away because he felt he couldn't control his own restlessness. He was afraid of hurting me and even more afraid that I would regret it. After all, in his eyes, he was just a failure. Although he didn't like Xiao Hengyu, at least Xiao Hengyu was capable of giving me what others might see as happiness. But what about him? Did it not hurt him to see me with Xiao Hengyu? I closed my eyes, and when I opened them again, I suddenly stood up. In the next second, under everyone's gaze, I straddled Xiao Yan. Glancing at the people around, I said, "Sorry, sister, but he's mine." Suddenly, there was complete silence around us. Xiao Yan's face changed drastically, and he stared at me, speechless. I slowly lowered my head and saw his Adam's apple bob sharply. "What are you doing, you?" After I spoke, I bit his lip. For a moment, it seemed as though the person beneath me had stopped breathing, but his warm chest reminded me that he was very much alive. Even after I pulled away, Xiao Yan still stared wide-eyed as if the sky had fallen. I couldn't help but laugh, yet suddenly felt a pang of sadness. Xiao Yan had kissed me, after I had died in a past life, after he had suppressed his feelings for so long. Unfortunately, by then, I could no longer feel his warmth, coming back to my senses. Xiao Yan's face was flushed with a mix of red and white, furiously telling me to get off, then he suddenly jumped up and rushed out. "Where are you going?" "To the restroom." Xiao Yan slammed the door, throwing me a threatening look before he left. "Don't follow me." I leaned back on the couch, unable to suppress a smile. He's so adorable. How had I not noticed this sooner? After Xiao Yan left, the others inevitably started discussing. I remained as unmovable as a mountain. The girl from before seemed unwilling to let it go, biting her lip and asking what my relationship with Xiao Yan was. I glanced at her and said, "Didn't you see just now? But brother Xiao Yan has never mentioned you before, so what?" I looked at the girl and said, "So you think he likes you, little sister? Don't deceive yourself about feelings." With that, I got up and walked to another couch, out of sight, out of mind. However, unexpectedly, some clueless man came over to hit on me. His lecherous gaze swept over me as he offered to buy me a drink. He then put his hand on my shoulder. I was just about to frown when I heard a whoosh behind me. Before I could even turn around, the man next to me was knocked to the ground with a punch. Xiao Yan grabbed his collar and said sternly, "Are you out of your mind?" The man was almost knocked senseless and started to struggle as he came to his senses. "What the hell is wrong with you? What does me offering her a drink have to do with you?" "Let him go." Xiao Yan's expression turned cold, and he decisively threw another punch. "Say that again if you dare." Seeing that Xiao Yan's demeanor was somewhat off, I felt a sinking feeling and stood up. The man, unwilling to be beaten, stubbornly continued to provoke Xiao Yan despite the consequences, yelling that he was crazy. In the next moment, Xiao Yan's expression completely changed. He grabbed a wine bottle from nearby and smashed it hard on the man's head. He then began to punch the man repeatedly in the head. As blood splattered and screams erupted around us, chaos ensued. Seeing that the man on the ground was almost unable to breathe, I gritted my teeth and threw myself at Xiao Yan, hugging him. "Enough, stop it." Xiao Yan ignored me, his elbow harshly brushing past my cheek. Enduring the pain, I continued to call out to him, desperately turning his head towards me. "Look at me, Yan." Xiao Yan's fist suddenly froze midair, his dark, hollow pupils quickly constricting. Seconds later, his breathing gradually slowed down. I sighed in relief and pressed him against my chest. "It's okay, now, it's over." Under my continuous comfort, Xiao Yan finally calmed down, his demeanor turned eerily calm. Soon the police arrived, and I accompanied him to make a statement. He was very quiet throughout, said everything that needed to be said, and finally paid a fine. Not until we left the police station, he suddenly turned to me and asked, "Aren't you afraid of me?" I shook my head, about to speak again. He abruptly cut me off. "Jiang-yi, I am sick, do you understand?" He pointed to his temple, his dark eyes fixating on me. Word by word he said, "I can't control my violence, choosing me. Aren't you afraid that one day I might kill you?" I opened my mouth to speak, saying he wouldn't, but he asked me why I thought he wouldn't. "Without you, I could continue to live carefree, but with you, I have to be constantly vigilant about controlling myself. You are a burden, understand?" My heart skipped a beat. Looking at him I asked, "Do you really think that? What if I say, your brother is a hypocritical beast?" His eyes darkened with craziness, his eyebrows slowly furrowing, yet he remained silent for a long while, as if pondering the meaning of my words. I looked at him, nodded slowly after a moment. "All right, you prefer I choose your brother, right? As you wish." On the third day after my fallout with Xiao Yan, the Qiao family held an early birthday party for Qiao Hengyu. Many high-profile guests attended, and naturally, my parents brought me along. However, what I never expected was that they had conspired with Mr. and Mrs. Qiao Dongliang to set me up. As I stood there unsuspecting, Qiao Hengyu stood on stage announcing some good news. He then gently smiled at me. "Xiao Yi, come up here." Holding my glass, I froze in place, my eyebrows furrowing tighter, but before I could even react, my parents pushed me onto the stage. Amidst the enthusiastic applause and murmurs from below, Zhang's daughter, Jiang Yi, "Does this mean a marriage alliance? Should we say it or not? These two are quite a match in terms of talent and beauty, but wasn't there recently a scandal involving the Jiang family, so? Isn't this Jiang family reaching above their station?" Amidst the noise, it felt as if I had suddenly returned to a previous life. At my wedding with Xiao Hengyu, the night before the wedding, I caught Xiao Hengyu cheating. Furious, I demanded to call off the engagement. In the dressing room, he slapped me hard, revealing his true nature, but by then, I was trapped with no way out. As I walked down the aisle, I fought back tears, desperately hoping for someone to save me, but no one came. Xiao Yan had already left before any of this unfolded, and I hadn't even noticed him. Now, standing on such a stage again, I felt almost suffocated. Xiao Hengyu had cornered me, banking on the fact that I had no escape. If I messed up today, not only would my family and I become a laughingstock, but my parents would also be utterly disgraced, kicked while they were down. Xiaoyi, what are you daydreaming about? Tell everyone our engagement date, Xiao Hengyu said with a smile. Handing me the microphone, looking at his hypocritical mask made my stomach churn. Ignoring him, I turned my gaze straight to the banquet hall door. Xiao Yan, I'm giving you 3 seconds. If you don't show up in 3 seconds, you'll learn what regret really means. 3, 2, 1, bang. A loud noise came from the door. I looked up in shock. Amidst the roar of a huge engine, a black sports car had violently crashed into the wall. What the? Who is this? Are they insane? Security. Someone has broken in. The banquet hall erupted into chaos and screaming. I stared at the familiar sports car not far away, my eyes twitching. I asked you to come, not to fly here. The next second, the car door opened, a long leg clad in a black and red racing suit stepped out, then, revealing a lean waist and well-defined chest muscles, Xiao Yan, draped in a black jacket, removed his helmet. His damp hair swayed slightly as his piercing gaze fixed directly on me. Our eyes met, and I gasped, damn. Why is my man so handsome? Qiao, the second young master of the Qiao family, he's gone mad, driving a car right into here. What about his manners? Manners, haven't you heard? This second son of the Qiao family is known to be a violent madman. God, calling him a violent madman is an understatement. Amidst the surrounding murmurs, Xiao Hengyu next to me frowned deeply. Yan, you, brother, Xiao Yan interrupted him, looking straight at Xiao Hengyu and said firmly. Taking advantage of my absence to steal my woman, that's not very nice, is it? His words silenced the crowd instantly. My parents and the Qiao family were shocked, while the other guests were confused. If I remember correctly, the person Jiang Yi chose to align with was me, right? Xiao Yan looked at me again, his dark pupils exuding a fierce yet gentle glow. Under everyone's watchful eyes, he walked towards me step by step. What do you say, Miss Jiang? As he spoke, Xiao Yan stood before me, bowed slightly, and extended his hand invitingly. Looking at his open hand, my heart started pounding wildly, my eyes suddenly felt sore. It was as if I had crossed the torrents of time, standing once again on the wedding stage of a past life, but this time, someone had come to save me. Yes. The moment I placed my hand in Xiao Yan's, he gripped it tightly. The warmth of his palm spread to the center of my hand, and I truly felt my rebirth at that moment. The nightmares of my past life were slowly drifting away, and the future was symbolized by the hands tightly clasped between Xiao Yan and myself. Jiang Yi, seeing how well Xiao Yan and I got along, Xiao Hengyu couldn't hide his displeasure and scowled beside us, but before he could say anything more, Xiao Yan snorted coldly and pulled me away. Ignoring everyone else, he led me straight out of the banquet hall. I had initially thought about staying back for a few minutes to manage the situation, but looking at Xiao Yan's resolute profile, I decided otherwise. Was there anything more important than him right now? Following Xiao Yan out, I saw another sports car parked nearby with a man dressed in a racing suit inside. His mouth fell open in astonishment when he saw Xiao Yan leading me out. Damn, you're serious, Yan bro, you just snatched her away like that. Cut the chatter, move it, Xiao Yan said impatiently, frowning as he snatched the car keys from his hand and pushed him aside. The car's over there, go drive it yourself. I'm leaving. As he finished speaking, he had already pressed me into the passenger seat. I was still dazed and hadn't even fastened my seatbelt. Come on, Xiao Yan. Growing even more impatient, leaned over to help me, but the seatbelt got stuck after a few tugs. Half of him was leaning over me, neither advancing nor retreating, and his ears flushed red. What the hell is this? I couldn't help but laugh, which inadvertently made my chest brush against his arm. Almost instantly, Xiao Yan recoiled as if he had seen a ghost. You, do it yourself? He was almost steaming, his face dark yet flushed. The man outside the car looked puzzled. I cleared my throat, restrained my laughter, and fastened my seatbelt myself. The next second, the car zoomed off, as if on fire. I slightly turned my head, observing Xiao Yan's flushed profile, barely containing my laughter. After a while, the redness on his neck finally subsided, but his expression grew somber. That day you called Xiao Hengyu a beast. What did you mean? What has he done to you? My lips quirked slightly, but I still kept my eyes on Xiao Yan, thinking of asking me now. Isn't it a bit late? I spoke calmly. After all, he had already disrupted Xiao Hengyu's birthday party, effectively tying his fate to mine. However, Xiao Yan frowned and mentioned that he hadn't intended to cause such a big scene. If it weren't for that fool insisting I bet on racing with him, I wouldn't have been late. I glanced at the car logo in front of us and raised my eyebrows slightly. So, this car is the result of that bet. I suddenly remembered that in my previous life, on the day I married Xiao Hengyu, he seemed to have had a car accident. After that, he never touched racing again. My brow furrowed, about to speak, but he interrupted me again. And don't think that this means I'm committed to you. I'm just trying to help you, and I want to understand what exactly you know, Xiao Yan said sternly. keeping his gaze straight ahead, adding that although he didn't have the wealth and power of the Chow family, he would do his best to help the Jiang family. I looked at him, narrowing my eyes. Remaining silent, seeing that I didn't respond, he frowned, hesitated for a while, and then said, "If you don't want to enter into an arranged marriage with me, just let me know, I'll think of another way for you." "Xiao Yan, if you say one more word, I'll pounce on you right here." I stared coldly at Xiao Yan. For a full 3 seconds, there was dead silence in the car. Xiao Yan mechanically turned his head, his eyes wide with a hint of confusion and mostly filled with terror. "To say such things now, you're being irresponsible and shamelessly denying any connection after the fact." "No, that's not what I meant." "What do you mean by, not what you meant? Am I holding you back, troubling you, or forcing you?" I narrowed my eyes and leaned slightly towards Xiao Yan. "Why crash the party if you didn't want an arranged marriage?" Being so aggrieved, "You might as well send me back to Xiao Hengyu. It's just a dead end anyway. It's better than being despised here." Xiao Yan was stupefied, not even looking ahead as he spoke to me in haste. "What are you talking about? What death? I told you, I didn't mean it like that. He explained frantically, almost biting his tongue. Looking at his face, I suddenly felt a bit reluctant to tease him anymore. But if it hadn't been for his infuriating words, I wouldn't have purposely agitated him, recalling the crazy things he did for me in the past life. I closed my eyes and said, "Enough." Xiao Yan paused. The next second, I leaned over and kissed him hard on the lips. "Driving recklessly causes tears, don't learn from this." With a screech, the tires skidded fiercely. Xiao Yan swerved and stopped the car on the roadside. "Jiang Yi," he shouted at me angrily, staring but unable to speak. Finally, he managed to say with a red face, "Do you realize how dangerous that was just now?" I raised an eyebrow. "Of course I do, but rather than having you send me back, I'd rather die with you." With a click, the safety belt slid off. Before Xiao Yan could recover from the shock, I leaned over and pressed him down on the seat. Glaring at him, I slowly bent down, my lips brushed past his lips, nose, and eyes. Finally, I bit down on his ear. In a hoarse voice, I said, "Better to be a romantic ghost than a vengeful spirit." As I spoke, I felt Xiao Yan tense up, his body stiffening. With a smirk, I pressed down on his wildly beating heart and softly called his name. "Ah, Yan." The space in the driver's seat was cramped, and the temperature suddenly soared. Xiao Yan's hand on my waist tightened gradually, radiating intense heat. Watching his Adam's apple move nervously, I chuckled and pressed my lips to it. Thud, thud, thud. You can't park here, didn't you see that?" Before the sentence finished, the traffic policeman outside the car window stood frozen. 3 pairs of eyes met, and silence ensued. I slowly raised an eyebrow, thinking to myself, "Uncle, you're not young anymore, how can you lack such discernment?" Underneath me, Xiao Yan came back to his senses, his whole body exploding. He fumbled desperately to restore the scene to normal. The more anxious he became, the more his hands touched places they shouldn't. Eventually, he was about to lose his mind. The policeman outside couldn't bear to watch anymore and silently turned away. "Well, anyway, drive off as soon as possible, and remember to pay the fine later." After saying that, he left, cursing under his breath with a flushed face. Inside the car, I sat back in the passenger seat, feeling a bit regretful. "Are you still giving me a ride home?" Xiao Yan, "No." "Oh, then do I need to remind you again about wanting to be with you?" "No, you don't have to." "Alright, can we go home now? I'm tired." Xiao Yan didn't say a word and swiftly started the car. I grinned at the car window. "You're still not beyond my handling." After Xiao Yan and I left, Xiao Hengyu cleaned up the mess. To maintain his image as a humble gentleman, he publicly announced that I had chosen his brother. Since his brother wasn't there, he looked after me on his behalf, and in reality, he was about to announce the good news about Xiao Yan and me. He also subtly suggested that Xiao Yan had his own merits, hoping that Xiao Yan and I would receive everyone's blessings. With these grand-sounding words, Xiao Yan and I instantly became the target of public criticism. Some criticized me, saying the esteemed Miss Jiang ignored such an admirable elder brother to choose a worthless man. Others cursed Xiao Yan, listing the outrageous things he had done over the years, mocking him for being worlds apart from Xiao Hengyu, noting that such disgusting actions were not surprising. What a pity for the great young master Xiao, a 1 in 100 talent, to be insulted like this. Exactly, but I don't think Xiao II and Miss Jiang will last long. An ignorant girl and a deranged brute, TSK. Amidst the sighs, I just lay at home planning my next move. Having experienced my past life, this was nothing. Right now, the most important thing was to persuade Xiao Yan to return to the Qiao family business. Without reclaiming what belonged to him, our future would certainly be challenging. Thinking this, I sprang up and hummed a tune while doing my makeup beautifully. I hadn't seen Xiao Yan in 2 days, and I was itching to see him blush. Just as I finished getting ready and opened the door, I saw my parents sitting in the living room with worried faces. Seeing me come out, their faces grew even longer. asking where I was going. To the Chiaos, I answered and was ready to leave, but my mother stood up and walked over. Judging by her expression, I knew she was about to scold me again for choosing Xiao Yan. I raised my hand to stop her. Mom, don't worry about the issues at home. The Chiao family won't dare not help. As for the rest, I looked at my mom and said word by word, you never interfered with my life before, and there's no need to start now. I will provide you with a carefree life. But beyond that, nothing else. After saying that, I left without looking back. In my previous life after I died, my soul somehow didn't dissipate. That's why I could see what Xiao Yan did for me. I also saw my parents. I saw them grieve for a while. But then they followed the Chiao family's suggestion and moved abroad. They even adopted a godson overseas. It didn't take long for them to move on from my death. I should have guessed it. The Jiang family, having only one daughter, didn't really love me. In the face of money and power, I was insignificant, and they didn't like having a daughter, thinking she'd just marry off anyway. If it weren't for my father's health preventing them from having more children, they wouldn't have stopped at one. So, after I died, I didn't expect them to suffer much. But seeing their indifference, my heart trembled with pain. At that time, I felt even if I lived again, it wouldn't mean much. Not until later, when I saw Xiao Yan, I watched him hold my body and weep. Watched him completely sever ties with the Chiao family. I watched him take revenge for me alone. To confront the Chiao family, he even knelt down and begged for help. Severely beaten, the already injured leg was further impaired. At that moment, my soul was fiercely stirred. I swore, if given another chance, I would never let him suffer again. Upon arriving at the Chiao's residence, I heard the sound of shattering glass as soon as I entered. This was followed by the furious scolding of Chiao's father. If you don't want to be part of this family, then get out. What do you think you are? Without the Chiao family, would you have everything you have now? Then came the insincere attempts of Chiao's mother and Xiao Hengyu to calm the situation. I pursed my lips slightly, already guessing who they were scolding. But with Xiao Yan's temperament, would he really just let them berate him? With a frown, I stepped forward and entered. I saw that the large aquarium in the living room had shattered. The fish inside lay on the floor, motionless as if they had long been dead. In addition, there was an ashtray with bloodstains on the floor. Xiao Yan stood amidst the wet floor and glass shards, a wound on his forehead bleeding. In an instant, my chest felt like it would burst. They dared to harm Xiao Yan. Were they insane? I quickly approached Xiao Yan to ask what had happened. He hadn't expected my sudden appearance. His darkened face froze, wondering why I was there. I'm asking you, what happened? Who did this to you? Perhaps my grim expression made it difficult for Xiao Yan to speak. Xiao's father, with a face as dark as iron, sternly admitted he did it and asked what about it. Xiao Hengyu, sensing the tension, quickly came forward to ease the atmosphere, while soothing his father. He explained to me, he said that Xiao Yan, either out of bad mood or something else, had killed his father's favorite fish with medication. It has been confirmed that the powder was a medication Xiao Yan takes for managing his emotions. Father was a bit upset and gave him a lecture. Before he could finish, flashes of past events surged in my mind. In an instant, I glared at Xiao Hengyu, wishing I could end him right there. Taking a deep breath, I stood still. Instead, I turned to look at Xiao Yan. Did you administer the medication? Xiao Yan was startled, denying it immediately, but then he lowered his head, his face growing cold. Let it be, if they say so, it doesn't matter. I insisted it did matter. Why should you suffer for something you didn't do? Turning to the Chiao family, my gaze fell on Xiao Hengyu. If I remember correctly, he's also on similar medication. Why didn't my uncle and aunt suspect him? Xiao's mother, taken aback, quickly glanced at her son, not concerned whether he was guilty, but shocked that he was taking medication. Xiao Hengyu's face momentarily stiffened, then he retorted. I don't know where you heard that, but I'm healthy and don't take any medication. Bullshit, I interrupted him calmly, stating that he had told me himself. Xiao Hengyu turned visibly more upset, but before he could speak, I cut him off. If you don't believe it, why don't you have someone check his room? Xiao's father, already looking grim, became even more enraged after my persistent questioning and unreserved language. Miss Jiang, are you suggesting I wronged Xiao Yan? Someone go and check. I want to see who exactly is being wronged here. At that command, two subordinates immediately headed upstairs. Xiao Hengyu's expression completely changed. He tried to stop it but it was too late. He could only watch helplessly as two of his men quickly came down from upstairs with an additional bottle of medicine in hand. Mr. Chiao, this medicine, it was indeed found in young Master Chiao's room, one of them said. This statement changed the expressions of everyone present, however. Xiao Hengyu quickly stepped forward to explain, stating he had been under great pressure recently and the doctor had prescribed him some medication. Upon hearing this, Xiao's mother quickly came forward to show her concern. Xiao's father, on the other hand, seemed to sense something amiss, his face turning a mix of blue and red. Enough, no need to investigate further. Xiao Hengyu glanced at Xiao Yan and suggested they just assume it was him who was responsible. Dad, you're not in good health. Don't get angry anymore. It also lets others make a laughingstock out of us. I almost laughed at Xiao Hengyu's demeanor. I confronted him directly, insisting that it was better to clear up the truth. Xiao Hengyu gave me a resigned look as if he was the one being wronged. He asked what I wanted. I remained unfazed and pushed Xiao Yan, who was beside me, forward. If the young master insists on admitting it was him, then he should apologize to Xiao Yan. You, Xiao's father began, his eyes widening in anger, but Xiao Hengyu stopped him. He smiled faintly, then turned to Xiao Yan and apologized. I shouldn't have wrongfully accused you, little brother. The word, little brother, was said with a clenched tone. After that, there was a moment of silence, then Xiao Yan bowed his head and silently pulled me away to leave. It wasn't until we were in the car that he suddenly turned to stare at me. I thought he would be moved to tears, questioning why I believed in him unconditionally and protected him so fiercely. Then he would uncontrollably hug me tightly, and finally, kiss me passionately. Instead, he asked, "Why did you know Xiao Hengyu was also taking that kind of medicine? Have you been in his room? What exactly is your relationship with him?" I gasped, at a loss for words in front of him. As the jealousy in the car threatened to suffocate us, I decisively moved closer and wrapped my arms around Xiao Yan's neck. The sudden closeness threw his gaze into disarray. He leaned back, telling me to stop my tricks. "You need to explain clearly. What exactly, MMPH?" I leaned in and kissed him deeply, far more boldly than the light kisses of before. He heated up entirely. A few seconds later, when he pushed me away, he looked like a cooked shrimp, his eyes watery as if he had been bullied. I quickly turned my head and moved back to the passenger seat. Goodness, I really had to restrain myself. Waving my hand, I signaled him to start driving and then listened to my explanation. Xiao Yan, still dazed, nodded and obediently started the car. My heart melted, about the things from my past life. It wasn't that I didn't want to tell Xiao Yan. Firstly, it was too unbelievable, and I feared he wouldn't believe it. Secondly, the past life was too painful. It hurt me, and it hurt him. I didn't want to remind him of those memories, so, after thinking, I made up an excuse. I said Xiao Hengyu was a senior from my previous school, but I had inadvertently discovered he wasn't as he appeared, so, for this arranged marriage, I had investigated him beforehand. The explanation was full of holes, but Xiao Yan didn't ask further. Instead, he made an unrelated comment, saying he was from the same school as me. He asked why I hadn't investigated him. Who says I didn't investigate? Without investigating, how could I know that someone has had a crush on me since freshman year? Xiao Yan's expression changed abruptly. When did I say I had a crush on you? I turned my head to look at him and laughed. Xiao Yan, realizing what he had said, quickly turned his head away. No matter how much I tried to coax him afterward, he remained silent, his handsome face flushed red. What else could I do but indulge him? I told Xiao Yan that Xiao Hengyu and the others would not let us be. If we didn't take back the ownership rights that belonged to him, we would end up ruined and with nothing. Only with capital could we confront them. Xiao Yan frowned but said nothing. I knew he had shares in the Qiao Corporation, but he never managed them. They were the inheritance left by his birth mother, and the more he engaged with it, the more he would miss his mother. But in our previous life, it was because these shares were stolen that his circumstances became so difficult. I couldn't let us go through the same ordeal again. Gently touching Xiao Yan's face, I looked at him seriously and said, "I know you don't like dealing with these things. I promise, once we get through this, you can do whatever you want. From now on, I'll support you. I will always, always be with you." Xiao Yan was taken aback, his pupils shaking violently. The next second, he pulled me tightly into his embrace. I blinked, somewhat puzzled, but soon he let go of me and awkwardly said, "Who needs your support? I'm perfectly capable." I wasn't unwilling to fight before. I was just worried that problems could affect the Jiang family. "Your parents must be really worried now, right?" He paused, then said in a low voice, "If things really go wrong, run as far as you can." Got it. It was only then that I realized why he had endured Father Qiao's abuse in the Qiao family, feeling a pang in my heart. I decisively looked up and pecked him on the lips. "I'm already yours. Where else could I run? Wherever you are is where I belong." Xiao Yan turned his face away, his eyes dark and unreadable, but after a few seconds, he gripped my hand tightly, almost crushing it. "Jiang Yi, I won't let you lose." The next morning, Xiao Yan and I officially started our plan. In our previous life, Xiao Hengyu had me toyed with by his business partners, using me like some object to gain benefits for him. He even sent me to the beds of some old shareholders to stabilize the company, but it was also because of this that I was able to remember each of these people clearly in my heart. I knew exactly how many dirty deeds were hidden inside Qiao Corporation. I knew who was corrupt and who was clean, who was cunning and who was merely a facade. With my guidance, Xiao Yan quickly caught on to several of these rotten characters. Then at the shareholders' meeting, he appeared suddenly, catching everyone off guard. As his little assistant, I followed by his side, watching Xiao Hengyu and some shareholders' faces change dramatically, feeling extremely satisfied. Some used the excuse that Xiao Yan hadn't managed the company for a long time to argue that he no longer deserved to be a shareholder. Xiao Yan scoffed coldly and sat down with a drag of his chair. It's true I haven't managed the company, but my shares have still been profiting the company, unlike you, who appear diligent but engage in shady dealings behind the scenes. It's a miracle the company has survived this long under your management. The old shareholder turned pale. He choked out that Xiao Yan was slandering him. He said he had been in the Qiao Corporation for 8 years. And even the chairman had never spoken to him like that. Other shareholders chimed in, criticizing Xiao Yan and mocking him for his ignorance and audacity to show his face here. Heng Yu now found himself overshadowed. You're not going to throw him out? With someone like him in the company, it chills my heart, an old shareholder exclaimed loudly. Everyone then turned their attention towards Xiao Hengyu. Xiao Hengyu massaged his temples, feeling a headache coming on. Yan, you see, it's not that I don't want you to stay, sigh. You should go back first. I'll discuss with mom and dad tonight to see if we can arrange something else for you. You don't need to handle the company's affairs anymore. Why can't I be involved? Has the Qiao family become so dominant now? Qiao Yan interrupted him calmly. He stated that his shares were there, and no one had the right to take away his rights. Mr. Kai, do you think I have wronged you? He squinted his eyes towards the old shareholder, his deep dark pupils flashing with a cold light. Then take a look at what these are. Saying so, he gestured towards me with a nod of his chin. Go. Throw it in his face. I nodded, took a thick folder, walked over, and slammed the folder hard into the old shareholder's face. With a loud thud, the old shareholder, along with his chair, was knocked to the ground by me. The entire office fell silent. I dusted off my hands, which were not even dirty, and strutted back to Xiao Yan's side. Xiao Yan gave me a look, his face seemingly spelling out a giant A6. The others exploded in anger a few seconds later. Mr. Kai's face was a picture of varied expressions. He struggled to his feet, pointing at me and Xiao Yan, and began cursing loudly. At that moment, the file I had slapped on his face was picked up by someone nearby. That person was the first one Xiao Yan and I had won over, with a look of a horror. He started reading the contents of the file, detailing the years Mr. Kai had embezzled money by exploiting his official position. Every case was laid out for all to see. Mr. Kai paled dramatically, and by the time he reacted and tried to snatch the file, it was too late. The drama ended with him being taken away by the police, but for Xiao Yan, this was just the first battle in the company. Before leaving, I glanced at Xiao Hengyu's extremely gloomy expression and slowly curled the corners of my lips. Don't worry, this is just the beginning. Over the following days, Xiao Yan and I began to conquer the company. Everyone knew Xiao Yan was unpredictable and violent, and rumors even suggested he had a mental illness. He didn't even need to reprimand people behind their backs. He would hit you in the face, and you had to bear it. Thus, many began to tread carefully around Xiao Yan, and those with issues tried every means to get him out. Flawed plans and well-set traps, time-wasting and indigestible projects were all handed over to Xiao Yan. They were convinced Xiao Yan was incompetent and would mess everything up. However, the flawed plans, once revised by Xiao Yan, quickly gained approval, and the results were remarkably good. He cleverly avoided the traps set for him, kicking out a few non-performers, which increased team cohesion, and that project they couldn't digest. It was because Xiao's rival was manipulating it from behind, and this person, I had wanted to meet since my rebirth. Nowadays, it has become neglected. After all, at the previous birthday party, I chose his younger brother in front of everyone and left him behind. Even if he keeps up appearances, some will question his capabilities. Xiao Dongliang was furiously upset but helpless, and Xiao Hengyu, after receiving the call that he Yiming agreed to meet, Xiao Yan and I immediately prepared to go. Unexpectedly, as we reached the downstairs, we bumped into Xiao Hengyu. His eyes were dark and brooding, his face showing signs of fatigue, so much so that he almost didn't manage to hide his malice when he first saw Xiao Yan and me. However, he quickly recovered, smiling and greeting me and Xiao Yan. Yan, you've been doing well lately. It seems that Xiaoyi is truly your lucky star. Xiao Yan responded indifferently, lifting his eyelids slightly. Is there something you need? Xiao Hengyu's smile faded a bit, saying it was nothing important. By the way, I heard you're also planning to meet with President He of Xingyue. To be honest, it's tough to secure a deal there, and He Yiming is no easy target. What bargaining chip do you plan to use to convince him? Xiao Yan casually replied, mentioning a plot of land in Dongcheng that was up for auction. Xiao Hengyu was taken aback, then frowned. He said that the land had no prospects whatsoever. Yan, buying land is a big deal. Don't be rash, otherwise, if something goes wrong, Dad might. If it has no prospects, I'll make it have prospects. Xiao Yan interrupted Xiao Hengyu, his dark eyes firmly fixed on him. Just because you can't, doesn't mean I can't. With that, he walked away, watching his imposing figure. I couldn't help but smile. He really is my man. Following Xiao Yan to the door, I glanced back at Xiao Hengyu. He stood not far away, his expression blank, his gaze somber. Upon arriving at Xingyue, He Yiming Probably disliking the Chow family, deliberately made us wait and didn't show up on time. I wasn't going to indulge him, and after waiting for 5 minutes without seeing anyone, I pulled Xiao Yan to leave. The secretary who was hosting us was startled and hurriedly tried to stop us. No need. Just tell your president he will soon learn how to write the word regret. With that, I gave Xiao Yan a look, and without hesitation, he got up to leave. However, as the elevator doors opened, He Yiming came out with a smile. I've long heard that the younger Qiao brother has a temper, and it seems it's true to the rumors. Xiao Yan ignored him, only giving me a questioning look. I tilted my head slightly, signaling that he could proceed. He then greeted He Yiming coolly. Afterward, we went to the reception room and officially started talking with He Yiming. Upon learning that we were using the plot of land in Dongcheng as our bargaining chip, his eyebrows raised. That plot of land? I hear it has a bad reputation. Are you playing with me? Xiao Yan frowned impatiently. Believe it or not, that's up to you. He Yiming's mouth twitched. I couldn't help but smirk, feeling quite pleased inside. That plot of land would later be developed by the government and become a highly sought-after site. This was something I told Xiao Yan based on my memories from a previous life, and he almost immediately believed it. Pausing for a moment, I spoke calmly. President, he should be aware of my identity. I won't hide it from you. Our goal is the entire Chow family, so naturally, we've come fully prepared. I stared at the man across from me whose expression had slightly changed, and said softly, it's up to you, President he. If you dare to take this gamble. As the words fell, He Yiming stared at me for a full 10 seconds, just as he was about to speak. Mr. He, have you seen enough? Xiao Yan spoke sternly, a dangerous glint in his eyes. I'm telling you, He Yiming almost failed to maintain his authoritative demeanor. She responded irritably that he had a wife. Xiao Yan continued to glare at him, clearly jealous. I couldn't help but suppress my laughter and quickly hugged my little wolf dog to comfort him. Only then did Xiao Yan calm down, urging He Yiming with a prompt, if it works, it works, if not, we'll find someone else. He Yiming's face turned ashen. He said yes, what more to confirm? With that, the deal was sealed. As I looked at Xiao Yan more, I liked him even more, and couldn't help but kiss him while he was buckling his seatbelt. He frowned at me, warning about the dangers in the car. Oh, so it's fine when we get back. Fine, can you not? He was flustered, his face turning red. Unable to voice his objections, I teased, asking how could I not seduce him like this. Suddenly, he let out a deep breath, his dark eyes intently gazing at me. I should be the one to initiate this. After saying this, he gently pressed the back of my neck with one hand and leaned down to kiss me. I suddenly widened my eyes. For a moment, it felt like countless stars burst in the corners of my eyes. My heart stopped beating. Xiao Yan kissed my lips lightly. His movements gentle yet profoundly affectionate. My heart was completely captivated by him. Soon, Xiao Yan and I took a photo of the land in the eastern city. The internet erupted with ridicule and insults. This Qiao family's second son really has issues. Buying a piece of unwanted land without even looking. Alas, the older Qiao sibling is so capable. How come the brother is so lacking? If the Qiao Corporation falls into his hands, it wouldn't last half a month. For a time, even the Qiao Corporation's people had complaints about Xiao Yan. Several shareholders even joined together to try to oust him, and even called Xiao Dongliang for this purpose. In the meeting room, Xiao Dongliang placated everyone with a smile, his greedy and selfish nature apparent in every wrinkle on his face. He criticized the recent actions of Xiao Yan with a dismissive remark, turning his head to glance at Xiao Yan, his lips slightly curled downwards. You don't need to worry about the company's affairs for now, just go do whatever you want. What about my shares? Xiao Yan asked. Looking up, Xiao Dongliang frowned unhappily, saying what do you mean your shares? Those are the Qiao family's. In that instant, Xiao Yan's expression darkened significantly. He remained silent, but the chilling aura he emitted exerted a strong pressure, silencing the entire meeting room. I'll say this only once. Looking at the slightly changing expression of Xiao Dongliang, he enunciated every word. That's not yours or the Qiao family's. It belongs to my mother. You better not touch it. Xiao Dongliang opened his mouth, then coldly said, no one cares about that little bit of shares, Heng Yu. Cash it out for him right now and then have him kicked out of the company. No. Xiao Yan coldly met his gaze, stating he didn't want the money. With that statement, the atmosphere in the meeting room instantly tensed. Everyone thought this meant he wasn't settling for a small portion, but aiming for something bigger. However, moments later, Xiao Yan only made one request to Xiao Dongliang. Xiao Dongliang paused, a flicker of confusion in his eyes. But he almost immediately agreed. Beside him, Xiao Hengyu's brow furrowed tightly, his lips moved as if he wanted to speak, but seeing the expression on Xiao father's face, he held back. I stood aside, frowning. My gaze remained fixed on Xiao Yan throughout, watching his expression grow colder and colder. I felt a sharp tug at my heart. Something wasn't right with him. Xiao Yan, shall we go? I thought Xiao Yan might hesitate, show reluctance, or even resist me, but quickly, he turned and walked over, confidently. He took my hand and we left together, yet, he remained silent until we got into the car. His grip on my hand was slightly tight. Looking down at his hand, I felt a pang of pain. Xiao Yan must have been thinking of his mother. Only after my rebirth did I have his background investigated. Xiao Yan's biological mother had passed away from an illness related to mental health when he was very young. I had seen a photo of his mother. A gentle and beautiful dancer with long hair that reached her waist, often dressed in a beige long skirt. In the photo, Xiao Yan, dressed in a small suit with a bow tie, looked exquisite and handsome. He was being led by his mother, dancing with her in the role of a male dance partner. It was the last dance of her life. Later that winter, his mother died, and the mother of Xiao Hengyu, who was older than him, moved in with her children. What he found even more unbearable was realizing his father had been unfaithful years before. In his agony, he screamed and broke down, but he was just a child and could do nothing. He followed his mother's advice and continued living well, but the pain he suppressed in his heart grew too much, increasingly making it hard for him to control his emotions. "Xiao Yan," I called out softly. Xiao Yan looked up immediately and said he was fine. Feeling the increasing pressure in his grip, I sighed and pulled him into my embrace. "Speak up if you're upset, curse if you feel like it. Don't suppress any emotions in front of me." Xiao Yan shuddered violently and finally let go of my hand. "I'm sorry. I hurt you. It's okay. I know you didn't mean it." Xiao Yan didn't respond but lifted his arms to embrace me. A few seconds later, I heard muffled sobs close to my heart. Xiao Yan took deep breaths, hugging my waist tighter and tighter. Feeling his pain, I couldn't help but tear up myself. What people fear most isn't death, but living alone. That's true for both him and me, but together in each other's arms, we would never be alone again. "Don't worry, I'm here." After an indeterminate amount of time, the person in my arms struggled slightly. "Jiangyi." "It's stuffy." Startled, I let go of Xiao Yan. He quickly moved back to the driver's seat, his ears red as if bleeding. Veins on his neck stood out prominently. I glanced down at the creased fabric on my chest and lightly raised an eyebrow. "Stuffy. You seem to be enjoying it." Xiao Yan's face flushed instantly. "And he started the car in haste." I chuckled, the gloom in my heart clearing away. Later, Xiao Yan moved out of the Qiao family home. He bought a house on his own. Over the years, he had saved money from racing bets and stock investments. I helped him organize the house, arrange the furniture, and turn the place into a home. He listened to everything I said, claiming that being a man, he wasn't too fussy. I hummed in response, "Should we get a double bathtub then? Or make the small bathroom in the bedroom have transparent glass, right? The bed in the bedroom isn't big enough, we need to buy a bigger one." Xiao Yan's face turned unnatural, and he stuttered, asking why. I tiptoed and whispered in his ear with a light laugh, "What if it's not enough for us?" Xiao Yan tensed up, his Adam's apple bobbing quickly. Seeing his embarrassed look made my heart flutter. I was about to stop teasing him, but in the next second, he lifted me by the waist and threw me onto the bed, pressing down on me before I could bounce back. Then came a flurry of kisses. "Jiangyi, what kind of engagement party do you want?" he asked, gripping my hand after the kiss. I paused, only then remembering that we had an engagement party to organize. Being from prestigious families, we had to follow certain protocols. Thinking it over, I said I'd go with whatever he suggested, as I didn't have any particular ideas. After all, both engagements and weddings weren't very appealing to me. Xiao Yan stayed silent for a moment, then just held me without a word. Half a month later, on the eve of our engagement party, the internet exploded. The plot of land Xiao Yan and I had was taken over by the government. They planned to develop the area heavily, with substantial investment expected. The main beneficiaries would naturally be the landowners and related personnel. When He Yiming called, Xiao Yan and I were at his small company. Yes, he now owned a company. He had to cut off his mother's shares and started this company unrelated to the Qiao family business. Qiao Dongliang was more than happy. He considered Xiao Yan staying as a calamity for the Qiao family and was eager to push him out. But he and Xiao Hengyu probably couldn't guess that this was all part of our plan. Only by completely severing ties with the Qiao family could we. "We can only breathe easy once the Qiao family falls from power, Mr. Qiao. I'm sure you've seen the news about that plot of land on the internet," someone mentioned. Heemin thanked them and then stated that he was ready to help whenever needed. Xiao Yan probably still held a grudge from last time, as he responded coolly and abruptly hung up the phone. However, when he turned to look at me, he transformed into a puppy. His eyes sparkled as he leaped towards me. "Tired," I said. I patted his head soothingly. "Just hang on a little longer. It's almost over." After a pause, Xiao Yan suddenly asked me how I planned to deal with Xiao Hengyu. The online sentiment towards him has already started to sour, and many partners are defecting. Should we take this opportunity to bring him down and ruin his reputation? No. I looked at Xiao Yan's sharply contoured face and said that would only ruin him financially, not his reputation. I want him to taste true despair. Xiao Yan looked up at me, and after a moment, he placed his hand on my forehead. "I will do everything in my power to help you, don't frown." I was taken aback and felt a twinge in my nose. Later that afternoon, I said I had some things to take care of and parted ways with Xiao Yan. Standing in front of the club, my body began to tremble uncontrollably. Even digging my fingernails into my palm didn't help. This place was Xiao Hengyu's private club, and my personal nightmare. He kept a group of high-class ladies here to vent for him and some so-called big shots. I had seen girls being carried out of rooms covered in blood multiple times. Those who came here were not human, they were less than trash. After a moment, I closed my eyes and stepped inside. Having been reborn, I had already started making plans and had planted spies inside. I reached a floor that only VIPs could access and heard faint noises from the rooms. There were unbearable screams and desperate cries for help. Under the bizarre lighting, it was like a twisted hell. I walked through it, feeling as if every part of my body was in agony, but I kept moving forward. After meeting with my informant, I had them hand over everything they had recorded. Watching the videos of girls being abused and mistreated, I clenched my fingers tightly. After handling things there, I prepared to leave. Just as I reached the staircase, I saw Xiao Hengyu approaching with a trembling girl in his arms, his gaze cold and bloodthirsty. My heart sank, and I quickly retreated. For a moment, I didn't know whether to go forward or back. Going forward could ruin everything I had worked for. Retreating could doom the girl tonight. Miss Jiang, it's time for you to leave, my subordinate said sternly after Xiao Hengyu had left. I stood still for a few seconds, then shut my eyes tightly. Go back, find a way to save that girl. Xiao Hengyu has been frustrated these days, he could kill her in his anger, I said. My subordinate tried to stop me, saying he wasn't beastly enough to kill someone just like that. He will, I insisted, suppressing the trembling in my heart. I know him better than anyone. My subordinate looked at me, opened his mouth to speak, but then simply nodded his head. As I expected, by the time the girl was rescued, she had already been severely beaten. Xiao Hengyu had made her lie naked on broken glass and lashed her viciously with a wet whip. Apart from her face, her entire body, including her private parts, was shockingly brutalized. Xiao Hengyu seemed like a madman lost in frenzy, growing more excited as he assaulted her. While he was strangling the girl and enjoying her gasps for breath, one of his men burst in, announcing that there was trouble downstairs and that the police were being called. In that moment, Xiao Hengyu turned his head and looked like a demon, but he quickly regained his composure. He not only changed into clean clothes, but also calmly instructed his men on how to deal with the girl. I hid in the shadows, watching his face, feeling as if my chest would explode. Once his men informed me that the girl had been rescued, I immediately left the club. In the car, one of his men looked at me through the rearview mirror. Miss Jiang, are you all right? I suddenly looked up, tugging at my soaked collar, and muttered that I was fine. Should we go back to the Jiang residence? There's your engagement party tomorrow morning. No, head to the Shizi Bay Villa. I looked out the window, with only Xiao Yan's face on my mind. At that moment, all I wanted was to see him. What I never expected was that Xiao Hengyu had prepared such a big surprise for me. Seeing that Xiao Yan's villa was completely dark, I sensed something was wrong and hurried upstairs. The moment I smelled the blood, my heart sank drastically. I burst through the bedroom door. In the next second, I stood frozen in place. I saw a naked woman lying at the bathroom door, her forehead marked with dried blood. Xiao Yan was sitting on the floor next to the bathtub, clutching a dagger tightly. But the dagger was pointed not at someone else, but at himself. It was his own blood-soaked arm. His eyes were hollow, terrifyingly so, and his face was devoid of any color. He looked like a walking corpse. Seeing me, he paused for half a second, then picked up the dagger and stabbed again. No. I lunged forward, grabbing Xiao Yan's hand tightly. His strength was surprisingly great, but he remained stuck in place with me. I quickly turned my head, instructing my men to fetch a sedative from the car. My men hurried downstairs. Yan, it's me, I'm back. I freed one hand to lift Xiao Yan's face, forcing him to see me clearly. He was soaking wet and trembling uncontrollably, yet he still shifted his gaze to me. Jiang-yi, it's me. In that instant, a pained expression crossed Xiao Yan's face. He struggled, grabbing my clothes, but also trying to push me away. He kept murmuring my name, telling me to leave, saying he would hurt me. I said nothing, just held on to his hand tightly. Soon my men came in and administered the sedative to Xiao Yan. He was still clutching my hand tightly as he passed out. I asked my men to help move him to the bed, never letting go of him. After a moment, I spoke hoarsely, check if that woman is still breathing. My men turned to look. In those few seconds, countless outcomes and contingencies flashed through my mind. The girl on the floor was no ordinary person. She was a wealthy young lady who had been clinging to Xiao Yan at the bar earlier. Zhou Tian. If she were dead, Miss Jiang, I paused, tilting my head slightly. The woman isn't dead, just injured on the forehead. My men paused, then added, judging from her physical symptoms, it looks like she's been drugged. I blinked, my mind going blank for a moment. I looked down at the soaked bathrobe on Xiao Yan. I nodded slightly. Understood. Get a doctor here to check her blood. Yes, my subordinate left with Zhou Tian, and the room fell completely silent. I stayed by Xiao Yan's side, feeling a chill spreading slowly within me. If I'm not mistaken, there must be reporters lurking around Xiao Yan's villa. They are eagerly watching, waiting to dig up a scandal involving Xiao Yan and Zhou Tian. Making tomorrow's engagement party a backdrop for our scandalous reputation, I clenched my fists tightly and lowered my eyes slowly. Xiao Hengyu, since you are so eager, tomorrow will be your end. More than an hour later, Xiao Yan woke up. He sat up abruptly, bending forward like a leopard ready to pounce. In almost the next second, his fist nearly swung towards me. However, when he saw clearly who I was, he hesitated, then suddenly pulled me into his embrace. Jiang Yi, with a heavy breath, he said in a deep voice that it wasn't a hallucination. Xiao Yi, I'm sorry. Hearing this, I closed my eyes. My throat was sore, and I couldn't bring myself to say, it's okay, but the next second, I heard Xiao Yan say, you said you didn't like people entering our home randomly? I'm sorry. My remaining clear consciousness steadied, and I vaguely sensed something. What else? Xiao Yan murmured that there was nothing more. I didn't touch her, nor did I even look at her. I used an object to hit her, not my hand. I was stunned for a moment, feeling both amused and slightly relieved. I knew very well that even if Xiao Yan really did something with her, I couldn't blame him, but knowing the truth at this moment, I still felt fortunate. Xiao Yan, thank you. Thank you for placing me at the top of your heart. Thank you for hurting yourself to stay clear-headed. Thank you for everything you've done for me. After Xiao Yan fully recovered, Zhou Tian downstairs also woke up. She was crying bitterly, claiming she was framed and drugged, yet, she never dared to look up at Xiao Yan. Seeing her like this, I almost wanted to laugh. Xiao Yan had already told me the whole story. He came home and saw Zhou Tian, who had been drugged. Zhou Tian was crying and begging him to help her. He originally didn't want to intervene, but then he noticed reporters hiding in the dark. If Zhou Tian were to leave like this, the young girl's reputation would be completely ruined. She might even become a target for those with ill intentions. Reluctantly, he had to bring her into the villa, but he forbade her from going upstairs. Unexpectedly, this woman recklessly stripped and went upstairs trying to seduce Xiao Yan. When Xiao Yan was moving her out of the car, he accidentally inhaled some of the drug powder, which was already mentally fragile. So, at the moment he saw Zhou Tian, he didn't hesitate. He picked up something and knocked her out, but under the stimulation of the blood and drugs, his own emotions were also ignited. In the end, he had to harm himself to maintain his clarity. Thinking of the glaring wounds on Xiao Yan's arm, my heart felt blocked. I coldly glanced at Zhou Tian and threw out Xiao Hengyu's name, telling her that it was most likely Xiao Hengyu who wanted to trap her. But remember this, if it weren't for your own foolish actions today, none of this might have happened. Zhou Tian bit her lip hard, looking pitiful. I wasn't swayed at all, and sternly told her, I'm telling you, if it weren't for me and Xiao Yan today, you would have been torn apart by other men by now. I'll hold you responsible for Xiao Yan's injury. If you know what's good for you, I advise you to follow my instructions, he said. Zhou Tian turned pale with fright, seeing that Xiao Yan couldn't even be bothered to glance at her. She finally faced the reality. She slowly lowered her head, and finally said, I'll listen to you. The next morning, the engagement party went on as planned. Journalists staking out near Xiao Yan's villa didn't capture anything noteworthy, only photos of Xiao Yan and I happily coming and going. Upon arriving at the banquet hall, I immediately noticed Xiao Hengyu in a corner. His face looked awful as he listened to someone next to him. After the person finished speaking, his face was filled with nothing but gloom. Turning his head, he quickly instructed his subordinates with a few words. Watching his defensive posture, the irritation in my heart gradually dissipated. It had begun. Soon after, the banquet started. Xiao Hengyu's complexion grew increasingly worse. He kept answering phone calls and angrily issuing orders to his subordinates, but it was all in vain. I glanced at my phone and saw the news had already broken. Xiao Corporation was suspected of tax evasion and was under investigation. Jiang Yi, did you orchestrate this? Suddenly, Xiao Hengyu's voice came from across the room. I slightly lifted my head to meet his intensely grim face. Have you lost your mind? What good does it do your family if the Xiao family falls? If you want to be with Xiao Yan, then be with him. No one is stopping you. Why the hell are you targeting our family? When have I ever wronged you? He said. I looked at the man in front of me going mad, silently recollecting the past life. In this life, he indeed hadn't started hurting me yet, but the vile things he had done were enough for him to die 100 times over. Seeing that I remained silent, the madness in Xiao Hengyu's eyes nearly overflowed. He stepped forward and abruptly grabbed my arm, insisting we talk somewhere else. Let go, I said. The moment he touched me, my body convulsed. He gripped me tightly, as if trying to crush me. Looking at his expression, fear rapidly spread within me, and I instantly lost all strength. Don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch her. The next second, Xiao Yan suddenly appeared and fiercely knocked Xiao Hengyu to the ground with a punch. His eyes were bloodshot, and he radiated an unusual bloodthirsty aura. Before Xiao Hanyu could get up, Xiao Yan struck him several more times. Regaining my senses, thinking he was having an episode, I quickly intervened. Yen. You don't need to dirty your hands. Xiao Yan landed another heavy punch that knocked Xiao Hanyu's face askew. Being mindful of me, he finally stopped, but the anger in his eyes did not diminish, fixating deadly on Xiao Hanyu. I was puzzled by his reaction but couldn't dwell on it further. I pulled him aside. Soon, the entire banquet hall's guests gathered around. Seeing Xiao Yan beating someone, they began murmuring among themselves. Openly and secretly, they labeled Xiao Yan a madman. Some, out of fear, left the venue immediately. In the ensuing chaos, I gradually regained my composure. I asked Xiao Yan what was wrong. He shook his head without speaking, his face still looking terrible. I had to set it aside for the moment and told him all the evidence was ready. He coldly stared at Xiao Hongyu in the distance and said, "Then let's begin." As the hall was engulfed in chaos, a video suddenly started playing on the big screen. The first half of the video consisted of photos, each photo enlarging one by one. The content above is all about the Qiao family. It documents the illicit money earned by the Qiao family over the years through cunning and social connections. It also chronicles the illegal activities carried out with internal personnel after Qiao Henyu took over the company. Finally, the video exposed numerous high-ranking officials and even shareholders of the company engaging in corrupt and illicit exchanges of power for sexual favors. Ugly faces appeared on the screen, and the faces of the Qiao family's high-ranking officials, who had come for the reputation of the Qiao family, drastically changed. My god, what is all this? Mad. Has the Qiao family gone mad? Huh? I heard that Xiao Hengyu was talented and promising, but this is the kind of promise he had. The Qiao family is done for this time. No telling who set them up. Be careful what you say, or the police might take you in for questioning too. Amidst the noisy crowd, Xiao Hengyu became the target of public anger. Countless people pointed fingers and criticized him harshly, deeming him worthless. Some even said that it was his fault that the Qiao family had come to this sorry state. With a bruised face, Xiao Hengyu shuffled through the crowd, his face a mix of blue and red. Just then, a cry of surprise burst from the crowd. What's that? Xiao Hengyu's private club. Everyone turned towards the sound and saw the video playing on the screen. It showed footage from Xiao Hengyu's club. The girls in the video were pixelated, but their plight was evident. Watching some beasts in human skin abusing and torturing them, the audience fell into dead silence, and Xiao Hengyu, watching those videos, was stunned on the spot, watching his face slowly being overtaken by despair. My heart finally felt somewhat relieved. You're welcome. You deserved all of this, bastards. These animals are bastards. Morality is declining. How can such filthy and disgusting acts happen around us? This Xiao Hengyu is truly a beast. He deserves to die. Angry curses filled the air, and everyone's faces were full of outrage, regardless of their own private misdeeds. At this moment, they all had to be the righteous ones who condemn the villain. Smack. Someone slapped Xiao Hengyu hard on the face, cursing him shamelessly. The video showed a group of girls about the size of their own daughters. How dare Xiao Hengyu do such a thing? That slap seemed to trigger something. Many surged forward, pushing and cursing at Xiao Hengyu. Xiao Hengyu was in a pitiful state, his face full of terror. He desperately tried to dodge and push his way out of the crowd, but he failed several times. Under immense torment, he let out a heart-wrenching scream. At the same moment, the sound of police sirens approached from outside. Xiao Hengyu fled. As the police arrived, he took advantage of the chaos to slip away from the crowd, but I had already cut off his other escapes, leaving him only a dead end. I told the police he might try to escape overseas by water. The police were skeptical but quickly dispatched officers. Meanwhile, Xiao Yan and I stayed in the banquet hall until all the guests had left. We stood on the stage, exchanged engagement rings, and shared a gentle kiss. Sensing something was still off with Xiao Yan, I frowned and asked him what was wrong. Seeing my displeasure, he gripped my hand tighter. After my persistent questioning, he finally mentioned that he knew about my visit to Xiao Hengyu's underground club last night. I paused for half a second, then asked, and then, a sudden rage flared in his eyes as he said in a deep voice, he also saw the girl I had rescued. That girl, named Chen Yi, yes. Xiao Yan said hoarsely. Xiao Hengyu had people look specifically for a girl who resembled you. I was suddenly taken aback, suddenly recalling the girl's features. They did indeed somewhat resemble mine. My heart sank slightly. I felt slightly nauseous. There was no way that scumbag Xiao Hengyu had any genuine feelings for me. It was probably jealousy that he harbored but couldn't vent directly on me, so he targeted someone similar to me instead. Damn it. Xiao Yan suddenly kicked over a chair nearby, exclaiming that he wished he could kill that beast Xiao Hengyu. Looking at his furious face, I strangely found myself feeling calmer. Thankfully, nothing had gone awry. Thankfully, Xiao Yan was here, gently cradling Xiao Yan's face. I kissed him without another word. Xiao Yan's breathing grew heavy, and seconds later, he lifted me up onto the table. The siege commenced. Xiao's corporation was officially declared bankrupt. Xiao Dongliang went to prison, and Xiao's mother received a suspended sentence. The Jiang family, caught up in the fallout, had most of their assets confiscated and my father was stripped of his position, but thanks to my prior precautions, their reputation remained unscathed. That was the greatest assurance I could provide. I arranged a new place for them to live and then moved in with Xiao Yan to the home we had set up together. After settling me in, Xiao Yan was about to leave again but I stopped him. Xiao Hengyu will be caught sooner or later, you don't need to rush this. Xiao Yan hesitated, and I pretended to be displeased. What, am I no longer attractive to you? Have you stopped valuing me now that you have me? With those words, Xiao Yan turned around and came back without a word. He rested his head in the crook of my neck like a big dog, rubbing against me, and finally muttered that he wouldn't feel at peace until Xiao Hengyu was caught. I said I understood, but we shouldn't waste our time over such trash. We're engaged now. Do you really want your bride to spend her nights alone? His expression changed before I even finished speaking. Jiang Yi, it's only 9 o'clock. Are you sure? I laughed. The kid was wild. It's only 9, so let's go to bed early. I'm not asking you to battle until dawn. Xiao Yan looked at me silently, his ears turning red. I was delighted inside, teasing him, saying, you're not incapable, are you? After that, I was carried back to the room by Xiao Yan and thoroughly schooled. When I drifted off to sleep, it was just past midnight. Yan, I'm here. Hearing Xiao Yan's deep voice, I fell into a deep sleep, but I didn't know how much time had passed when I was suddenly gripped so tightly I could barely breathe. Half awake, I realized Xiao Yan had sat up at some point, his arm tightly around me. Feeling his unease, I frowned and hugged him back, asking what was wrong. That was a shock. For some reason, he was covered in cold sweat. What's wrong? Did you have a nightmare? Or are you feeling unwell? Speak to me. Don't scare me. Yan, it's nothing, I'm fine. But Xiao Yan held me tight, saying he just missed me. Jiang Yi, I love you. I was startled, but before I could react, he kissed me fiercely. The next second, he tore off the nightgown I had just changed into before bed. Here, 500 words are omitted. Upon waking again, I felt as if I had been repeatedly run over by a car wheel. Lifting my arm took an eternity. After grinding my molars, I cursed under my breath. Seriously? Is this supposed to be a one-time fix? Am I never coming back in my life? Xiao Yan, get in here. I shouted hoarsely, but there was no response from outside. I frowned. I thought to myself, if this scoundrel dares to leave me alone in bed this early in the morning, I'll make him pay, and have him be my sister. Just as I set foot on the ground, a figure hurried over. Xiao Yan came running in with breakfast, and when he saw me getting out of bed barefoot, he shouted for me to stop. Don't move. He set down the breakfast, came over, and pinched my ankle as if to punish me, then helped me put on my shoes. I was somewhat flattered, yet felt it was only right. After all, he's my man. With a smirk, I asked him what he had made. He admitted he wasn't much of a cook and had just whipped up some porridge. Then he brought the porridge over and even pretended to feed me. I pushed him away, speechless, saying I wasn't in confinement. Xiao Yan just looked at me and smiled, his eyes unbelievably tender. Looking at him, I was suddenly struck. The image of him holding my ashes and jumping into the sea in my previous life flashed through my mind. His expression was almost identical to now. A warmth spread through my heart, and I leaned in to hug him gently. Xiao Hengyu died? He died this morning at 5. It was said that he died on the way back after being captured. Some said it was a sudden illness, others said poisoning, and still others said he was shot. I couldn't know for certain, nor did I want to know anymore, because I was very aware. Xiao Yan had stepped out that morning, stretching lazily. I walked out to the balcony to enjoy the sunlight. It seemed that at this moment, I had truly walked out from the darkness. The days ahead were bright and long, filled with limitless light. Jiang Yi, let's get married. Xiao Yan embraced me from behind. I smiled and agreed. Then I'll have someone prepare now, and we'll have the wedding and register tomorrow. I was stunned. Who gets engaged one day and married the next? But I've been waiting a long time, a very long time. Xiao Yan looked at me intently, his eyes filled with sincerity and passion. Looking at the man before me, my heart softened bit by bit. After a long pause, I smiled and nodded. Let's do it. Extra 1. Xiao Yan, the night I truly got together with Jiang Yi, I had a nightmare. It resolved all the doubts I had for a long time. In the dream, Jiang Yi didn't choose me, but chose Xiao Hengyu. Like everyone else, she believed Xiao Hengyu was excellent and good. I didn't think so. I knew he was scheming and deceitful, but if he could be good to Jiang Yi, if Jiang Yi was willing, I was ready to step back. What I never expected was, Xiao Hengyu was a beast. The day before their wedding, he messed around outside and was caught by Jiang Yi. Not only did he not admit his mistake, but he also slapped Jiang Yi, telling her she had no way out. I was furious, wanting to rush up and kill him. I discovered that it was all just a dream. In that dream, I had already left the scene, overwhelmed by despair. What followed flashed by like a carousel, leaving an indelible mark on my soul. I saw Xiao Hengyu flirting with others openly, yet treating Jiang Yi coldly when he returned. Jiang Yi, deeply disappointed, considered leaving the Xiao family to work elsewhere. When Xiao Hengyu found out, he flew into a rage and struck her. There she lay on the ground, blood steadily streaming from a wound on her forehead until it stopped by itself. My heart trembled with pain, but I could only stand at a distance and watch. What happened next was more like a horrific nightmare. Xiao Hengyu became increasingly violent, venting all his frustrations on Jiang Yi when he returned home. Not only that, but he started taking Jiang Yi out to social events. Initially, it was just drinking, but it later escalated to inappropriate touching. Eventually, it led to sexual relations. At that moment, I felt as if I had died. I desperately searched for myself within the dream, and finally, I found me, only to discover that in the dream, I had been framed by Xiao Hengyu, resulting in a car accident that left me with a broken leg, leading to my downfall. I didn't dare go back to even glance at Jiang Yi. I understood, but I couldn't accept it. I had actually met Jiang Yi once when I was very young. At that time, my mother was still alive, and I sneaked out of the villa to play, only to be bullied by nearby kids. They called me the son of a little lunatic themselves. They beat me with sticks and demanded that I kneel and bow. That's when Jiang Yi appeared. Dressed in a pretty, clean princess dress, she threatened those kids, saying she'd tell her father if they continued to bully me. Knowing who her father was, the kids quickly ran off. Jiang Yi didn't pay any attention to me and left, bouncing away with her braids swinging. She forgot me, but I remembered her. It wasn't until university that I had the fortune to meet her again. From then on, I was completely captivated. The girl I cherished was now being trampled and humiliated, yet I couldn't even hold her. I could only watch as she was tortured to the point of preferring death, slowly breaking down. When I saw her take out a knife to end her life, my heart nearly burst. I desperately pleaded, crying out loudly, asking her to wait, just wait for me to find a way to save her. She didn't die in the end, but she was already like a walking corpse. I was in agony, and it felt like it wasn't just a dream, but reality. If it really was a dream, I begged her to wake up. Later, as I wished, Jiang Yi's nightmare ended. It stopped with the car accident orchestrated by Xiao Hengyu. She was hit so badly, her body shattered, her already gaunt face ghastly. Yet, I still found her beautiful. I reached out, hoping to touch her, and to my surprise, I actually did. In that moment, I merged with the self that appeared in my dream. Together, we kissed Jiang Yi's corpse, shared our pain, and went mad together. Together, we turned the Xiao family upside down and killed Xiao Hengyu. The moment we jumped into the sea, I finally held my Jiang Yi tightly. In the next life, could we meet earlier, please?